Hi, my name is Tara. I'm the founder of Grow Personal Development Services. And today we're starting our series of M.M.A.C classes. M.M.A.C stands for Movement, Mindfulness, Awareness, and Contemplation. It'll be 45 minutes. We're going to stretch. The stretches will be held for about 1 to 2 minutes. And then we're going to have our functional movement component to get a little bit of muscle activation before you move out of your practice. And we'll have a few moments of contemplation. And then the awareness part, so when we're in the stretches, what are you feeling? What does it feel like? And how does that make you feel? So we'll start with our calves. So moving into down dog, and we'll walk the dog. I like to move into child's pose first, reaching it long through your hands, grounding down through your hands, tucking your toes, lifting your hips up and back, looking for that length through your back, and bending the knees appropriately. If your back is neutral, then you can look at straightening your legs as long as you don't start to round as a result. Here, walking the heels, doing that stretch through your calves. Notice how that feels. Throughout this practice, looking for a light to moderate stretch. Noticing if one side is tighter than the other. And let's come down into a child's pose if that feels okay. If the pressure doesn't feel good on your knees, you can always move on to your back. So maybe the knees are together, maybe they're wider apart, whatever feels best for your hips. And then sitting the hips back, resting the forehead, either on the mat, your forearms, or if you have a block, you can always rest your forehead on a block. Option to have the arms out in front, or if you prefer, if it feels better beside you. And when you're ready, gently coming up to seated. Something I'll mention, so your breath can just be a regular breath if you'd like, and something that can help you get a little bit more out of the practice and a little bit more meditative is taking full relaxed breaths, so like an Ujjayi breath where it's an even inhale, even exhale. So inhale for a count of 4, and then exhale for a count of 4. So the full breath where you're getting your diaphragm more involved is going to stimulate the vagus nerve a little bit more, creating more of that parasympathetic response, that relaxation response. So we just stretched out our calves. Now we're going to stretch out our ankles. So this might be a lot of stretch, and if it is, then maybe coming forward a little bit so that we still get some length through the front of the shin. If you could use more, then coming to sit over top of your ankles. If you need more than that, bring the hands behind you. You're lifting one knee at a time, or both knees at the same time if that feels okay. While we're here, just checking in with the sensations. So what are you feeling? Noticing if there's any tension building in your body. So maybe your neck and your shoulders are starting to get tense, or you're holding tension in your jaw. See if you can let that go. Okay, gently bring your knees back down. We're going to bring the hands forward and then just gently tapping out the feet. Do some ankle rolls. That feels okay. Just get some circulation back to the joint. Okay. And we're going to come seated for a moment. So whatever feels good for you. You might sit on your knees, you might go cross-legged, you might sit on a block or a meditation cushion. Just taking a moment to refocus on your breath. While we're here, thinking about something that you really enjoyed about today. I'm thinking about what you really enjoyed about that moment. So next we're going to move into a quad stretch. I like to go calves, then to the quads, glutes, and hamstrings, because I find if we stretch the hamstrings first, when we get to the other stretches, like quads and even sometimes glutes, I find that the hamstrings will sometimes like to cramp up. So that's why I go in that order. You can go in whatever order you like. For this one, so we're going to have our knees in our front. I'm going to go opposite of you because I believe that then that way will be matched. And so we're going to stretch the right quad first. So for you, legs are in front, dropping the knees over to the left side. And that might be enough there. Looking to feel the stretch here. Otherwise, if you need more than that, pressing the hips forward to get through the length of that quad. And then if you need more, walking that foot back. Noticing how that feels. Noticing where you feel the stretch. Noticing that after a few breaths that maybe the muscles relax and you can go a little bit deeper. You find that your mind is really busy. That's okay. Trying to let the thoughts pass by like a leaf on water, as opposed to clinging onto them and trying to analyze them right now. And so about 5 more breaths here. And gently coming out of that. From here, you might just windshield wiper your legs, you might hug them into your chest, whatever's going to feel good to kind of release that quad. When you're ready, bending your legs, dropping the knees over to the right side this time so you can get to the left quad, and then working at bringing that left hip forward, getting the stretch all the way through. Once again, if you need more stretch, you just walk that foot a little bit further away from you. If it's too much, you just walk it back a little bit. We're looking for that light to moderate stretch. Just noticing any feelings, sensations, noticing if any thoughts come up. Notice you're holding tension in your jaw. You can wiggle it side to side. And about 5 more breaths. You're ready, gently coming out of that. Maybe windshield wipering your legs, dragging them into your chest, whatever feels best for you. Next, we're going to get into the glutes. So I'll give you the option. If pigeon is your practice, please go ahead and move into pigeon if that's what you'd like. Otherwise, I'll move into thread the needle. So thread the needle, go right leg first. So you might lay on your back. If you have a wall, you can always place that left foot against the wall. And then you don't have to use your arms. But otherwise, we'll cross the right leg over the left. Reach through the thigh, like so. If you find that you're up like so, then we'll just grab a strap. And then you can relax down better. So whichever feels best for you, you can move into that. So looking for that stretch in the right glute. Here, so just noticing what that feels like. Is it pretty intense? Is it not too bad? Might play around and moving your knee away, bringing it closer. What does that feel like? Might also with the left foot, bring the toes together versus letting the foot relax. How does that change? Even straightening the leg up, you might notice the difference, even if it's just feeling the hamstring on that left side. And starting to check in with the rest of your body. How does that left leg feel? How are the hips feeling? Low back, mid back, upper back, stomach, your chest, your shoulders. Feeling a lot of tension in your arms, or be able to relax. Then checking with your neck and your face. Just noticing any sensation, any tension, and always the option to either just observe it or you can let it go, whatever is right for you. Checking into noticing if you're leaning more to one side or the other and just trying to even out the hips. I would find that makes quite a difference with that glute stretch. You're gently letting that go. You'll let the legs move out long, letting the arms fall by the sides. Just taking a minute to notice how the right hip feels compared to the left. Letting the body feel heavy, letting the ground support you. Really just letting go of any expectations. That might mean that you need to give yourself permission to let go. When you're ready, we'll set up to the other side. Bend the left leg. If you're in pigeon, then you can switch sides. If you need your strap, you can grab your strap. And this time, left leg. Reaching through. Noticing, and just do you feel the stretch more on this side? Is it less? Is it in a different place? Just observing, no need for judgment. Checking in with your thoughts, checking with your breath, and checking with your body. Letting go of anything that's not serving you. Make sure that those hips are level. Observing any change, any sensations or any thoughts that might come up. Gently letting that go. Letting the legs go long, arms up by the sides. Just taking a minute to think of 3 things that you're grateful for and think about why you're grateful for those 3 things. When you're ready, rolling to your right side. Really taking a minute there. And then from there, using your hands to bring you up to seated. So moving into hamstring. So once again, I'm going to try and mirror you. So right leg forward, left foot into right thigh, sitting up nice and tall. And then thinking of bringing the left shoulder to the left leg so that you stay square and that you don't end up rotating too far to the side. Noticing how it feels if you pull your toes towards you versus letting your pointing your toes away from you. Just noticing how that feels, noticing where in the muscle that you feel it. You notice that the muscle is starting to relax more, then maybe you can hinge a little bit deeper. Trying to keep that movement from the hip as much as possible as opposed to just rounding through your back. And if it helps to put your hips in a better position, you can always put a small block or a small blanket or folded blanket or towel underneath your sit bone just to help get a little bit more rotation through your pelvis. When you're ready, you can use your hands to bring you back up. If you'd like, you can straighten both legs, maybe roll them out a little bit. Windshield wipers. If it feels good, you can maybe hug your knees into your chest, and you rock side to side. Whatever is going to help make that leg feel better as the muscle recoils. And when you're ready, setting up for the left side, straightening out the left leg, right foot into the left thigh, staying up nice and tall, folding forward to get that stretch to the back of that left leg. Just checking in, noticing if it's the same as the right, any differences, any similarities in terms of the feel, the place. Do you feel it in the middle of the muscle? Do you feel it more closer towards the knee? Do you feel it more closer to the glutes and the pelvis? Noticing if there's any tension in your body that you can let go of, any thoughts you can let go of. Gently letting that release. You're shaking the legs out. If you prefer to be in seated, you can stay here. So next we're going to move into the groin. And we'll be in a butterfly. So bottoms of the feet together, sitting up nice and tall. You might have a towel or a block underneath your bum just to get a little bit better pelvis rotation. Sitting up nice and tall and then hinging forward from your hips to get that stretch on the inside of the legs. If you'd like, option to do recline butterfly. So feet are the same, but this time we're going to lay back. Arms can be open. If you feel like you're really exhausted lately, you can always go palms down or bring one hand to the belly, one hand to the heart. So whichever is the best for you, whether it's seated or laying down, you can move into that pose. Letting tension go from your face, your neck, and your shoulders. If this stretch is really intense on your groin, always option to grab a pillow or blanket and prop it under the thighs so that it's not so intense. You want to find, once again, that light to moderate stretch. It shouldn't be really intense. And then once again, returning to your breath. So 5 more breaths. Gently bring the legs together. So if you're seated, you can stay there for a minute. If you're laying on your back, you're going to roll to your right side. We'll use the hands, gently bring you up. We're going to move into what I call bear pose. It's a really nice prep exercise for down dog. But so you want the knees under the hips, hands under the shoulders, and looking for a neutral spine. So there should be a nice soft curve in the low back as opposed to being rounded. So you don't want your bum to tuck under, you just want neutral pelvis. And those ribs should be in line with your pelvis. Hands under the shoulders, you're going to tuck the toes, lift the knees, and we're going to work towards 10 breaths. So if you do 3 breaths, you need a break, then come back down, and then come back up and see if you can continue the breath. and gently lower. If you're someone that knows that they hyperextend their elbows, and I mentioned this before, just watch that you are keeping a soft elbow so that your arms are neutral and you're not just not locking out. So that one's a nice one, just because it gets a little bit of muscle activation everywhere, as you may have noticed. Next, we're going to move into bridges for a little bit of glute activation. So lay on your back, heels close to your bum. If you can get it so your fingertips touch, that's wonderful. If you can't, that's totally okay. But hips, knees, and feet should all be aligned, so they should all be hip width. From there, lifting the hips for a bridge. So this bridge should have a neutral spine. So you're not pushing up through your back. If you need, so if you notice that you get low back pain, think of tucking the bum under first and then lifting the hips. And then back down. So we'll do 8 more of these. Eventually, you should feel this in your bum. The legs are nice and strong. Producing a nice full breath, which will help with your core stability. Your hip flexors are really tight. You might notice a stretch the front here, and that's good. It shouldn't feel like it's working, but maybe stretching, especially if it's tight. The working should be coming mostly from the lower glute there. You might feel the top of the glutes at times, which I'm okay with, but it shouldn't be anywhere in that low back through the vertebrae area. So the reason that we do this muscle activation, because once we stretch it out, we want to get a little bit of engagement there, so when you're going to do things, you already have that stability, because we just stretched everything else. So then you kind of reduce some of that stability if your muscles aren't strong. So from here, letting the feet come out wide, letting the arms fall by your sides. Just take a few minutes just to be here, giving yourself permission to let anything go that's not serving you. To thank yourself for spending the time to take care of your body. And we'll just take a minute to think about something that made you smile or laugh this week, and remembering the details of that moment. taking your time. After you thought of that moment that made you smile or laugh when thinking about those details, eventually making your way onto your right side. And just resting here for a moment. And when you're ready, use your hands to bring you up seated. Awesome. Well, thank you for joining me. If you have any questions, comments, I'd love to hear from you. So either commenting below or sending me a direct message. So either Facebook or Instagram. I'd love to hear from you. Have an amazing day.